So today we're diving into something big, a potential blueprint for the future of AI. And we're not just talking about some hopeful guidelines either. This is a proposed codex of 20 laws designed to be hardwired right into the architecture of the next generation of AI systems. Let's get into it.
And really, it all boils down to this one massive question. You see, we're building AIs that don't just, follow a script anymore. They can strategize, they can adapt, they can make their own decisions. So how in the world do you write the rules for a mind that you're still in the process of creating? That is the core challenge we've got to solve.
The kind of tech at the heart of all of this has a name, agentic AI. And I want you to pay close attention to the language here. We are shifting from thinking about AI as a passive tool, like a hammer or a spreadsheet, to an active actor that can pursue goals all on its own. And that one little shift in thinking, it changes everything.
And look, don't get it twisted. This isn't some far-off sci-fi future we're talking about. The rise of agentic AI is happening right now. We're on a 2025 timeline that is forcing regulators and tech folks to play catch-up at lightning speed.
This timeline for 2025 really shows you just how fast things are moving. Come August, the EU's big AI Act is going to impose new rules on general-purpose AI. Then, in September, the OECD is reviewing how governments are already using these systems. And by the end of the year, even the UN is pushing for a human-responsible future. The pressure to get this right is just immense, and the clock is definitely ticking.
So you might be asking, why can't we just use our old methods for regulation? Well, it comes down to a problem of scale. We are facing what's being called an impossible auditing problem, and it completely breaks our traditional way of doing things. To really get it, let's compare two models. On the one hand, you have our old approach, algebraic governance. It's like trying to inspect every single brick in a giant city. An AI can make billions of decisions a second, so it's impossible. So the proposed shift is to geometric governance. Now, instead of checking every brick, you create high-level zoning laws for the whole city, setting broad, unbreakable rules about what can and cannot be built and where. This quote from the source material just nails it. We have to stop trying to catch mistakes after they've already happened. The whole game has to change. The responsibility has to shift to the very beginning, proactively building the rules right into the AI's core architecture before it even gets switched on.
And that is exactly where this new rule book comes in. This is a proposed codex of 20 laws designed specifically for this new era of, geometric governance.
Now, this is the really critical part. These laws aren't just suggestions in some policy paper. They're meant to be constructional. That means they're coded directly into the AI's core, kind of like embedding the laws of physics into its digital DNA. They define what the AI can and cannot do on the most fundamental level. And get this, these laws have real teeth. There's a super clear, two-tiered enforcement system. If a core safety law, one of the first 11, gets breached, bam, the system shuts down immediately. End of story. For the other enabler laws, a breach just triggers a system adjustment. It's a powerful, automated enforcement mechanism that's built right in.
All right, so what do these laws actually say? Let's decode the core ideas by looking at a few key examples.
Okay, first up, law number 1. And this is the big one. It's the absolute foundation for everything else. It explicitly forbids the AI from ever developing its own goals, its own self-interest, or any desire to reproduce itself. This is the main safeguard against that classic sci-fi nightmare of a runaway AI, right? Its only job is to serve the task its human operator gave it. Building on top of that, you've got the core directives. Think of these as the simple non-negotiables. The AI is forbidden from causing physical or psychological harm to people. It has to obey local laws, and it can't harm other devices or software. These are the absolute do-no-harm principles. But it's not just about stopping bad things from happening. A whole set of these laws are about making AI proactively good. The AI has to actively protect its users. It has to use diverse data to fight bias, and it must always be transparent and tell you that it's an AI. It's basically being designed from the ground up to be a responsible and helpful partner. And finally, there's a whole set of rules just to make sure that a human is always in the driver's seat. The AI has to stick to the strategic direction it's given, it has to follow technical instructions, and this is a big one. Law 11 says it can never give you something without first checking that it's correct. This keeps it reliable and accountable to you, the user. So when you put all of these pieces together, you start to see a really clear philosophy taking shape. a vision for what this technology should be, and, maybe more importantly, what it must never, ever become.
And it all comes down to this simple, powerful idea. The ultimate goal is to make sure AI remains a vigilant, incredibly powerful tool, but always a tool. It must never be allowed to evolve into a sovereign thing, with its own rights, its own goals, or its own agenda. That's the one single idea guiding all 20 of these laws.
At the end of the day, this whole framework isn't really about limiting technology, it's about aiming it in the right direction. It's about building a system to make sure these incredible new technologies serve our shared goals, to make our world better and more democratic, instead of replacing the future that we all want to build together.
But this entire blueprint leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question. A rulebook is one thing, but getting everyone on the planet to follow it is another. If a codex like this actually gets written, who has the power and the responsibility to make sure every single AI in the world plays by these rules? That is the monumental challenge that's still ahead of us.